Welcome everyone. Today we'll be looking at expressions and statements, but our objectives of our objectives for this week or for this session, we are going to look at iterative statements. We learn about the various types of iterative statement, and we will practice on using iterative statement. We also look at loops. We also look at how to execute parts of a code repeatedly based on conditions or set of conditions. We also look at the use for performing repetitively tasks effectively. Now, when we say iterative statement, there are mainly three types of iterative statement. We have for loop, while loop, do while loop. So for the while loop, we have the condition in the do statement. The do statement while we have the expression, and then we also look at the for statement. Now let's look at the for statement. The for statements are used to iterate over a range of values or elements in the collection. So here's the syntax. So for you to use the for loop statement, these are the conditions these are what you need to do for it to work. So you first need to have the initial statement, and after you have done the initial statement, you use the semicolon, and then you do the loop condition, and you bring in the update, and then there you bring out the statement. So for statement, it's also useful for expressing a loop without an explicit termination condition. So which means it can keep running forever. Yes. So here's a simple example of the code, and this is the structure. So this is how it's going to be. So the initial statement, then you bring the condition. So one of the conditions will take you back. So if the condition is true, it will take you back to the initial statement, and if it's false, it continues. So for the for loop execution, for the for loop execution, there are some steps you need to follow. First, you need to find the initial statement, or you need to create the initial statement. Then the loop condition is executed. If the loop condition executes to true, which is if it's true, they execute for loop statement. Then the second, they execute the update statement. So if the condition is true, then it will execute the loop statement, and then it also execute the update statement, and then it will take you back to the initial statement. So yes, a simple code to execute a for loop statement. Yeah. So I can see we are continuing with the for loop statement. So over here you can see that this is a for loop statement, and you can see that this is the initial statement, then the loop condition, and then the update statement. As you can see, the initial statement with the int I equals 0, then the loop statement, and then the update statement. So let's run this program. Let's run this code and see what comes. So you can see, as you can see this. So it's telling us that if I equals 0 and I is less than 10, then it should keep adding. So that was it did. Let's continue. Let's go back and continue. While loop executes a long while loop executes as long as specified condition evaluate true. A while loop statement executes its control statement until its conditions become false. So there is the syntax. So we have the while and then the expression, and then after you have expressed it, then you bring the curly brackets and you give your statement. So statement can be simple. So expression acts as a decision maker and it's usually a logical expression. The infinite loop continues to execute endlessly, can be avoided by including statement if the loop body that assures us this condition will eventually be false. So you can see a diagram of it, the expression, and then the while loop conditions. So let's try hands on it and see what we have or what it will give us. Let's clear this. Okay. So the variable, which you can see, c, and then c equals 0. We terminate, we use a while, and then we bring the expression. C is less than 10, and then we declare. So we are going to give out the statement, print out, C out, C. Let's run it and see. So you can see what we have here. So we're able to do this. Now let's look at the do while statement. So the do while statement is similar to a while statement, except that the condition comes after the body. So the conditions comes after the body. So this is a diagram of the do while loop, the do while statement, as you can see, and this is the code. So let's look at exiting from a loop. If the condition of an iteration statement into bracket f for while or do statement is submitted, the loop will not terminate unless the user explicitly exits it by a break, return, go to, true, or something else obvious way such as a call of exit. So we are looking existing from loops, a break out of. So the nearest closing switch statement or iterative statement. We use a break when we need to leave the loop body in the middle. The break statement is used for two purposes: to exit nearly from a loop, to skip the remainder of the switch statement. So exiting from loop statement, and we're using the break. So as you can see, they are using the for loop statement. They are using the for loop statement. Yes. And then the break conditions come in. Existing from loops, yeah. Now let's look at the nested loop. Nested loops are compositions of loops. This could include do while loop, for loop, and while loop. So an example is here. As you can see, there are two for loop statements when using the nested loops. So we end our session here. You can try it out and see. It's really a good practice. Thank you. Bye.